We move to the next news video, and it's going to be a quick run through to start as a #1 contender battle royal for the Intercontinental Championship will take place this Monday night on Raw, with Gunther still set to make his WWE Raw debut. There was no promise of him making an in-ring debut. It's just him making his Raw debut. But either way, Gunther will be on the program alongside the Imperium unquestionably, with the Battle Royal set to take place for the winner to be the first person on Raw to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And the question now begins to point out who will be the one to dethrone the person that, for the first time, could touch the untouchable record, as the untouchable record, in my opinion, has been the Intercontinental Championship reign for the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, the Honky Tonk Man. Will Gunther be the one that dethrones the Honky Tonk Man's record? Or will Gunther be dethroned before he can beat the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time? I guess we'll find out on Raw, because the first challenger for Gunther as a member of the Raw brand is set to be determined in a Battle Royal. And like I've mentioned, I believe with the with the World Heavyweight Championship and what I thought WWE could do with the World Heavyweight title, I mentioned this back then, and that is, or a couple of weeks ago, how much I like the concept of Battle Royals, which I do like the concept of Battle Royals. And I think it gives not just an opportunity to find a #1 contender, but it also gives an opportunity for people to spark rivalries out of the Battle Royal. But that's just my opinion. Speaking of new challengers and champions finding new challengers, Bianca Belair has found a new challenger in Asuka, as Asuka interrupted the title celebration for the hometown title celebration, I should say, for Bianca Belair last night on SmackDown, and sprayed her with the mist, the black mist to be specific, and said that she put hot chili in the mist to add a more ruthless effect to it, which, Asuka, I think I said this with Gigi Dolan, that since Toxic Attraction went away, Gigi seems like she lost that edge she had in Toxic Attraction. And I think that Asuka has lost the edge too, in the same vein. I think Asuka lost an edge too, and it would be better for her finding that edge again, and it would be easier for her to find that edge again if that was something possible for her to do, because she needs an edge. She needs an edge. She needs more than just Asuka. She needs to be that ruthless, person that was down in NXT that got over from being undefeated for a year and a half. She needs to be who she was. She needs to be the Empress of Tomorrow again. And the same with Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan needs to find out how to be that ruthless bitch she was in Toxic Attraction, but as a babyface. She needs to find out how to be that person she was in Toxic Attraction, but a babyface. But either way, I do hope that not only is this match between Bianca Belair and Asuka, that this takes place at Night of Champions, but also I hope, not only is that the case, but I do hope that even if that is the case, that Asuka is the one to finally dethrone Bianca, because you got the record. She doesn't need to be champion anymore. You need to freshen up the division, and putting her on SmackDown and having her start her record over again, that is the easiest way to have her, to refresh the division, because having her go on SmackDown but still be champion, it doesn't refresh the division, because she is still the measuring stick. She is still the person at the top of the division, and she can't be the top of the division anymore. She can't be the top of the division anymore. We need a break from Bianca Belair, and if you want to keep adding to the legacy of Bianca and putting her in a position where she could be measured up to Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, then it isn't measured up. Then she doesn't measure up but with one title reign. She needs multiple title reigns and times to prove that she is in fact one of the best WWE has. Because Charlotte didn't prove herself in one title reign, she proved herself after her third or fourth. Because after her third or fourth was when she was in that rivalry with Sasha Banks. And to be honest with you, the one thing that has been lacking for Bianca is finding that person like Charlotte has, where Charlotte fit together like a glove with certain people. Bianca needs to find that placement to fit together like a glove with somebody in that division, to be that go-to rivalry, to put her over the top. Because right now, in my opinion, she doesn't have that yet. Because WWE hasn't found it yet. But now we slide over to the PLEs, and with the success of the PLE at Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico, WWE has been looking at doing more international pay-per-view events, including they are seriously contemplating going to Australia and doing a show down under, doing a PLE down under, which would be something that we have not seen since Super Showdown a few years ago. But also, it would be something that I don't know that a lot of people expected. I don't know if it would be something that a lot of people would be hoping for or would have been hoping for. You know that people like Indy Hartwell and Rhea Ripley and other people would get big reactions. But also it's interesting to note that Becky Lynch has been campaigning for WWE to do an international premium live event in Ireland, which WWE has Sheamus, WWE has Becky, Finn Balor. A lot of Irish-born wrestlers are in WWE, and you could build a show around those wrestlers. So yes, I think both Australia and Ireland could be very viable for WWE. Speaking of WWE, the internal roster was leaked for SmackDown as far as babyfaces and heels. And this is how it actually irons out. On the babyface side, it is Edge, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, and Santos Escobar. On the heel side for SmackDown, it is Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Theory, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, and Grayson Waller. It is crazy to me, number one, that Grayson Waller is in a position that he's among the top 10 as top heels, or considered one of the top heels on SmackDown. It is also crazy to me that LA Knight and Karrion Kross are also considered top heels, because they haven't really been featured talent. They have not really hit home runs, at least Karrion Kross hasn't since he returned. Theory and Solo Sikoa show how much belief WWE has in them, especially if you think about it, with Roman Reigns not being around. It basically means that if you think about it, Solo Sikoa, when Roman Reigns is not there, is the top heel on SmackDown, which is absolutely insane considering the fact that Solo has been on the main roster for less than a year. And if you look at the the babyface side, it is good to see AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley and Sheamus all featured in a prominent role, or still factored in a prominent role on SmackDown, but it also shows the potential that Santos Escobar has within WWE, being one of the top 10 babyfaces on the blue brand. And also, if you were looking for AEW news, we end on AEW news as Matt Jackson has been medically cleared to compete from the recovery from his partially torn bicep as he was back in the ring taking bumps, slowly integrating himself back into the in-ring action after suffering an injury a couple months ago. You have to figure that Matt Jackson, that the Young Bucks will be requesting Don Callis explain himself, because you figure that Kenny Omega may not be seen this week on Dynamite, but the Bucks might be as we approach Double or Nothing in about 2 weeks on pay-per-view. With that being said, though, that is it for the news, and I will see you in the next video.